two-quarterback system there that's a little bit different. You know, a lot of option read zone stuff with that package. I'll be honest with you, very similar as far as the overall makeup of the team. Very disciplined, defense-oriented, special teams oriented, field position type team, ball control type team. So similar in that regard. Different, you know, there's some differences in the schematics of things and how they line up, and then how their pressures and things like that. And then, you know, the passing game's different, stuff like that. But very similar style. You know, I think Coach is similar to you know, how they did things in the past with discipline and character. You can tell they're very, very disciplined. I think.
Is some of the issues, you know, they've been a little bit up and down. You guys have been a little up and down, trying to do something completely new. I mean, is this just sort of proof that regardless of how you try to do it, there's going to be a transition period, regardless if it's just basically the same stuff or if it's a whole new deal?
You know, I don't know. I just think if you say that, you're just making an excuse. I mean, you know, we've lost some close games. You know, obviously we've been inconsistent and executing offensively. But there's been a lot of things that have been very, very positive. So I would tell, you know, there's, you know, it's just like anything. I mean, the more you do something, the better you get at it. Obviously, sometimes it takes faster than others. I think the thing, like I said, I think that a lot of that is, you know, it's tough when you come to a new situation. You tend to want to do things like you've been doing it. Even as coaches, I think we tried probably offensively to do too much. Thought we weren't doing too much because we were doing a lot more than what we're doing now. But you understand, so I've kind of gone back and kind of assessed it. We had a little bit of time to do that in these 10 days, and I said, you know, we should be doing what we did in 07 and not what we're doing in 2010. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, I think you got to be adaptive to your skills and talents, the players you have, and what they can do. And we've tried to do a few things like that. I think that what happens when you're doing a new scheme is there's some uncertainty, and it makes people play slower, and you have more mental mistakes and things like that. So, but I can tell you, I mean, I've done this 3 times now. We went from the wishbone to the spread offense, and you know, but we were 0-4 to start this season, and then won like 7 of the last 8 games. You know, similar. I mean, I was sitting here last year 4-3, and then won the last 6 straight. So not really how you start, it's how you finish. Obviously, we're going to, every day we do this system, we get more comfortable in it. And I think that the number one thing that you have to be able to do is be disciplined to really, you know, it's just like every day if you have the same routine and you're doing the same fundamentals, you obviously get confidence and get comfortable in doing those things. So I just think that we probably tried to do too much, and then you know, we've had some challenges along the way, but I really don't. I don't think that's it. I mean, I think that's just an excuse if you say that, because if we could have held a 21-point lead, if we would have, you know, I mean, we could very easily have 2 more wins for sure, maybe 3. So you know, I don't really try to analyze all that stuff. I obviously at this point, just where I'm at is we've been inconsistent, and we've got to get consistent. And to do that, you got to get fundamentally sound and disciplined, because we're not far off, and we believe that that this is the time to do it, and this is what it's all about, man. You know, college football is all about putting yourself in position to win a championship in November. And that's what we're trying to do.
Have you noticed any difference in Tino since your vote of confidence in him last week?
You know, I mean, I think he, you know, all through this whole process, I think he's, you know, felt very confident in his ability to execute our system. I think, you know, he's had a great 10 days, you know, and we've worked hard, you know, and I personally have worked hard with him to make sure that he understands what we're trying to accomplish, and to adapt some things to help him be able to execute what we're doing. So, you know, I think he's had a great attitude and he's worked hard, and I've got a lot of confidence he'll play well.
Coach, when you talk about like scaling back, do you mean like just the sheer number of plays, or what you would do on a certain play, like options for receivers and that kind of stuff? You just want to do less plays so you can play faster?
There's certain plays that we have that we just don't need to try to run. Because it's like an example I give you, it's like, they're advanced plays where you're having to, there's a lot of moving parts. And right now, we've got to be able to, it's like we've got about, probably 14 different protections, but we need to get where we can execute 2 of them. You know what I'm saying? Because we have different people all the time, and it all looks good on paper, and we all know what we're doing and how we want to do it, but we need to get where you can execute something and be able to work on the base principle of our offense, okay? And the basic principle of our offense is fast tempo, all right? And the whole idea of it is run the ball. It's called the run and gun. That's what we call it. We actually call it, it's written in there on the wall. Is that we're going to run the ball, set up a pass. When we pass the ball, it's quick hitting passes. 1, 2, 3 balls out. And we've had some advanced plays that we were running when we were really have mastered our protections and mastered our checkdowns and our third looks and all that stuff that we need to shy away from and just really focus on our rhythm passing game. So I do think that there's things that we've done in the last week that's going to really help us from that regard. So it's really just focusing on fundamentals, if that makes sense. But there are, we have a playbook, that thick, and obviously we've never run that. You look in the course of the year, we take the plays that fit our players, and that's kind of how we adapt it. But just being decisive, I think when you see a guy not being decisive, he's obviously not doing that on purpose. It's because he's unsure. So every bit of the things that I've seen on tape are things that we can correct through coaching and what we're doing. So it's easy to say, well, this guy's not getting it done, or he's not performing well. It's very, very important. It's just like kind of our defenses, guys, have had as big of an adjustment as what our offense has had. Our defense was basically 4-3, cover, I think I call it cover 88, cover 4 last year, almost every down. Well, it's now we're coming in there and we're talking to them about robber and key and sink and star and all the different things that we do. We audible coverage in the middle of the plays, based on the other team's group. So it's been just as big of an adjustment. I think the difference is the experience and the veterans that we have on defense. They're much more mature mentally, and they've been able to make an easier transition. But we have adapted things defensively too, and so I think that's one of the things that we just really went back and looked. First thing I'm going to do is look at, hey, how we're doing things. Are there things we can do to help our guys? And I think we've really helped them this week to clean some of those things up.
Anything final for Coach?
No, I had talked to you early in the week. Mark Myers will be our backup quarterback going into the game. Mark's had a great week. Trey has got a injury to his wrist and has not been able to rep this week. And Mark's had a great week of preparation, so Mark will go in as our number 2 guy. So if something happened, he'd be the next guy off the bench.
Are you going to try to get him some snaps coming in this game?
No, he'll be the backup. We'll go with Tino and.
Because you worked with Trey Anderson
there
a few times.
And that was really just more Trey being more of a read zone run guy. Had different skill set, but Trey's got a deal with his wrist where he can't do a whole lot. Trey will still be on our extra point deal, the little gate deal, so you'll see him go out there for that, which is kind of a read zone type deal. But he has not been able to throw the ball because of an injury he has to his wrist. So Mark has had a good week, and so he'll be our backup.
Is it lingering from Trey's injury?
Yeah, he broke his hand last year and played through it, and he's had some, it just kind of came up in the last week. He's had problems with it, and so the doctors really want us to rest it, and he has not thrown any this week. So we've taken, we probably might not for a couple more weeks. So we'll see how that goes. But really proud of Mark and how hard he's worked and responded this week. He's had a good week, so he'll be our backup going into this game. Okay?